अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की, प्रेम सकव श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासति गौर भक्त वृंद की, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की, वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की, नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, गंगा माई यमुना माई की, भक्त देवी तुलसी महारानी की, समवेत भक्त वृंद की, गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. So welcome all for today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are reading Canto number 3, chapter 29, Explanation of Devotional Service by Lord Kapila, verse number 23. Dvishatah parakaya mam manino binna darshinaha Bhuteshu baddha vairasya na manah shantim archati. Dvishatah parakaya mam manino binna darshinaha Bhuteshu baddha vairasya na manah shantim archati. Dvishatah parakaye mam manino binna darshinaha bhuteshu baddha vairasya namana shantim ricchati. Dvishataha, of one who is envious. Parakaye, towards the body of another. Mam, onto me. Maninaha, offering respect. Binna darshinaha, of a separatist. Bhuteshu, towards living entities. Baddha Vairasya, of one who is inimical. Na, not. Manaha, the mind. Shantim, peace. Richati, attains. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: one who offers me respect but is envious of the bodies of others and is therefore a separatist never attains peace of mind because of his inimical behavior towards other living entities. Purport. In this verse, two phrases, Bhuteshu Baddha Vairasya, inimical towards others, Dvishataha Parakaye, envious of another's body, are significant. One who is envious or inimical towards others never experiences any happiness. A devotee's vision, therefore, must be perfect. He should ignore bodily distinctions and should see only the presence of the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord and the Lord Himself in His plenary expansion as Supersoul. That is the vision of a pure devotee. Bodily expression of a particular type of living entity is always ignored by the devotee. It is expressed herein that the Lord is always eager to deliver the conditioned souls who have been encaged within material bodies. Devotees are expected to carry the message or desire of the Lord to such conditioned souls and enlighten them with Krishna consciousness. Thus, they may be elevated to transcendental spiritual life and the mission of their lives will be successful. Of course, this is not possible for living entities who are lower than human beings, but in human society it is feasible that all living entities can be enlightened with Krishna consciousness. Even the living entities who are lower than human can be raised to Krishna consciousness by other methods. For example, Shivananda Sen, a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, delivered a dog by feeding him prasada. Distribution of prasad or remnants of foodstuff offered to the Lord, even to the ignorant masses of people and to animals, gives such living entities the chance for elevation to Krishna consciousness. Factually, it happened that the same dog, when met by Lord Chaitanya at Puri, was liberated from the material condition. It is especially mentioned here that a devotee must be free from all violence, jiva himsa. I'm sorry. Jiva ahimsa. So it's jiva ahimsa. Lord Chaitanya has recommended that a devotee not commit violence to any living entity. Sometimes the question is raised that since vegetables also have life and devotees take vegetable foodstuffs, isn't that violence? Firstly, however, taking some leaves, twigs or fruits from a tree or plant does not kill the plant. Besides that, jiva ahimsa means that since every living entity has to pass through a particular type of body according to his past karma, although every living entity is eternal, he should not be disturbed in his gradual evolution. A devotee has to execute the principles of devotional service exactly as they are. And he must know that however insignificant a living entity may be, the Lord is present within him. A devotee must realize this universal presence of the Lord. Thus ends the purport. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So one who offers me respect but is envious of the bodies of others and is therefore a separatist never attains peace of mind because of his inimical behavior towards other living entities. In Srimad Bhagavatam there are many verses, instructing verses and some verses, every verse is meant for a different class of devotees. For example, like when Prahlad Maharaj was speaking to his classmates, so he was instructing to atheistic, demonic, materialistic people. But here we see Lord Kapila is instructing Mother Devahuti, and Mother Devahuti is a devotee. So this verse is specifically or meant for devotees, for practicing devotees. So it is very important for all of us to understand this properly, because you see here, one who offers me respect means who is the person? The person is already a devotee, because that means that he is already worshipping the Lord. So this verse is to a practicing devotee, sadhaka. And if you look at the previous verses, in this chapter, from like text number 15, you see there is a lot of instructions. Lord Kapila says, a devotee must execute his prescribed duties. A devotee should see me, my status in the temple. A pure devotee should execute devotional service. A devotee should always try to hear about me. You see, should, like, it's like instructing. So, these are like do's and don'ts. And this is specifically relevant for in the Vaidhi Bhakti, because Vaidhi Bhakti is all about do's and don'ts, right? So, we have seen the do's, do this, do this, do this. And now we are saying don't do this, don't do this, right? So, we are saying don't be inimical, don't be a separatist, don't do this, right? So these verses are more like sadhana bhakti verses, because they are like strict rules and regulations. And then the specific word for today's verse is Binna Darshinaha. What is Binna? Binna means separate, and Darshina means to see. Basically, it means that differential outlook or differential treatment or having a separatist mentality. These are all kind of synonyms. And now we are seeing, this verse and the next upcoming verses, we will see what are the negative effects if a person is inimical or having this Binna Darshinaha. So previously it was told what to do, what is now it's telling what not to do. This way of presentation in Sanskrit grammar, it is called as Anvaya and Vyatirek. Anvaya means what you should do. It's like profit and loss. I mean, what you should do and what benefit you will get. And Vyatireka means if you don't do it, what loss. Because sometimes when we hear all these things, do this, if you don't do this, you'll get this, then someone may think that these are all just too much, why can't I just be alone, just leave me alone, then I won't do anything to anybody and then I'll be fine, then I don't need to worry about, that aparad, this will happen, that will happen, right? We may think, so, no, the problem is the contaminated consciousness. Just because we are alone or we don't deal with others just to avoid any offenses, that doesn't mean that our consciousness gets purified. The intention behind all these things is that our consciousness should be purified. So the main theme here is Binna Drik or Binna Darshinaha, means discrimination. So if you look at this discrimination, do we discriminate in our everyday life? We discriminate, right? We discriminate it because, see, discrimination is a very general word. Because we discriminate on the basis of body, right? One body versus other body. Like for example, suppose let's say someone comes to the temple with a cat or a dog. We don't let the cat or a dog come to the temple, right? I mean, we are discriminating on the body, right? Or sometimes people do discriminate based on caste. You're a Brahmana, you're a Kshatriya, you're a Vaishya. It's a discrimination. It's a good or bad, that's a different thing. But discrimination is there. And seniority and age, right? So this discrimination is inevitable. We cannot be without discrimination in our everyday life. And even Nectar of, but if you see Nectar of Instruction, verse number 6, what does it say? Drishtahi svabhava janitaye vapushasya doshair na prakritatvam iha bhakta janasya pashet. So what does it say? It says that na prakritatvam means don't see prakritatva or the faults in devotees, and or do not judge devotees. Don't be a judgmental person or don't find faults. So this verse we see. But however, if you see the previous verse, verse number 5, what does it say? Krishneti yasya giritam manasendriyayatat. So over there, basically it says how one should associate with different types of devotees. So you see, in one place you're telling not discriminate, other place you're telling how to, behave differently, right? So how do we properly understand and apply discrimination in our life so that we don't become a separatist? Because discrimination is a very big problem. Even, for example, in India, because there's a lot of problem with this Brahmanas discriminating against Shudras. I mean, Krishna himself says he created the caste system, but now caste system is seeing something as very negative thing. Why? Because of discrimination. Because people don't like discrimination, or people can exploit, based on Shastra saying that Brahmana, Shudra, and that can have a negative outcome. So that is why in today's society also you see people in general, they don't like discrimination. Like, you might have seen news like, the office boss, he'll be sitting on the same table or the same room as his employees because equal, because everyone wants to be equal. People don't like discrimination, right? But if you see our path of Bhakti tradition, there is discrimination. If you look at Mayavada philosophy, they're all same. There is no discrimination. They don't do as much discrimination as us. For example, if you see Buddhism, in Buddhism, sometimes they eat meat. And the reason why they eat meat is because when you go for begging and someone puts meat in your bowl, you're not supposed to discriminate. You're supposed to eat that. So they say no discrimination. Spiritual paths. But how do you understand that? So, but for a devotees it is different. When devotees are discriminating, it is not out of raga dvesha or attachment or hatredness. I remember when His Holiness Radhanath Swami was here. It was like 4 years back. I mean, I met him for the first time here. And when he was coming here, we were planning. We were planning for his visit, and everybody was cooking some item. And then I was coming up with some new ideas, how we can make his visit nice. And then I got an idea, which I talked to Sachidulal Prabhu. I told that, maybe we should get like a silver plate for Maharaj to eat, like silver plate, silver cup, silver everything, right? And then Sachidulal Prabhu said that, don't do that. I was thinking, why? Then he said that, see, whenever His Holiness Radhanath Swami is here, usually he takes prasad with his godbrothers. And when he's taking with his godbrothers, he does not like discrimination. He wants everybody to have the same item, and he does not want to be treated special. So this shows the consciousness of a devotee. They don't like to be discriminated. And now if you... so the main point is that not to have raga and dvesha. That is the main essential point. If you look at Bhagavad Gita chapter number 31, there is this verse, chapter 3, 31 verse, there is this verse, ye me matam idam nityam anutishtante manava shraddhavanto anusuyanto muccanteti pi karmabhihi. Means those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions and who follow these teachings faithfully without envy. Because we may ask question, what is the problem with discrimination? Is there any problem with discrimination? The problem with discrimination is given in this verse itself. What does it say? One who respects me, one who offers me respect but is envious of the bodies of others and is therefore a separatist, never attains peace of mind because of his inimical behavior. So envy and discrimination, they go together. Because wherever there is discrimination, that becomes a breeding ground for envy. Baddha vairasya. Simple example I'll give you. Suppose you are sitting in the prasadam line and someone is serving you prasad. And someone gives you one gulab jamun, but he gives 2 gulab jamuns to next person. What do you feel? Right? Don't you feel that why are you discriminating me? Don't you feel that? I mean, it's human. It's a human nature. It's a human emotion. Not to be discriminated. Right? So, either we feel, we breed envy or we breed envy in others' hearts unnecessarily. I mean, you would rather not give gulab jamun, we would be peaceful, rather than you give me one, you give others 2. Right? So that is a problem. The problem with Binna Darshana or too much discrimination is that it unnecessarily breeds envy, either in ourselves or in the heart of others. So, if you look at that is why if you see Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also, when he's speaking this verse in Karma Yoga chapter, it is not always the actions alone, because you see, apparently Krishna is killing, right? So he has to discriminate. This is Pandavas, this is Kauravas, these are like, you're supposed to kill them. But Krishna is telling, do that without envy. Anasuya. That you participate in the war. Apparently war seems to be full of violence. But do your duty, but without envy, without raga and dvesha. Then you will become liberated. So there are 2 things. One is the act you are performing. Second is what is your consciousness. Both are important, because sometimes just looking at the action we may not be able to understand. But that is why the intention is also very important. We must see both. So, Shraddhavantaha with faith and devotion, and Anasuyantaha without envy. And now how as devotees, how do we avoid being Binna Darshanaha? What are some practical ways how we don't become a Binna Darshanaha? There are many recommendations in this regard. I mean, this chapter itself gives some recommendations how devotees not to become Binna Darshanaha. One thing is that by seeing Super Soul in all living entities. So that is mentioned in the previous verse. Aham sarveshu bhuteshu means just see the super soul in all living entities. But of course, someone can say this is just some theoretical understanding, right? I mean, this is just theory. Is there any practical ways where we can implement in our life where we don't end up like that? Yeah, that is going to be explained in the future verse number 27, where it says, Arhayed dana manabhyam maitreya binna chakshusha. Dana and mana, through charity and through respect. These are the two ways which we can inculcate in our life, through which we don't become a binna darshina. How do we do dana? Dana means through friendly behavior and and charitable gifts. And mana. Mana means respect, or mana also means being friendly. It depends whom you are interacting with. So that is dana and mana. So through this we can not become a binna darshinaha. And we can see the life of the Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya and a lot of instructions in the Vaishnava culture. Because these, following Vaishnava culture and following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, we can see so many practical ways, applications which we can inculcate in our life. How do we practice these things? For example, Srila Prabhupada's father, he would say that, every day he would host many devotees and he would feed prasad without any discrimination. Prabhupada used to say that, right? I mean, he would never discriminate between, oh, he's genuine, he's not genuine, nothing like that. He would invite everybody and have prasad in his house. So that's a behavior of a pure devotee. That's a Vaishnava culture. And also, we just had Lord Chaitanya appearance day yesterday. Even if you see Lord Chaitanya's life, especially in his when he was a householder, there are a lot of instructions. This is from Chaitanya Bhagavat Adi. Nimai Pandit serves prasadam to 20 sannyasis. And Nimai Pandit would frequently receive gifts from various classes of people in Navadvip. He set the perfect example as a householder and was as charitable as the Supreme Lord himself. Whenever Nimai saw a poor person, he would kindly offer him food, clothing or money. So this is interesting, you see. Not just food, clothing and money also. Because this is specifically applicable to a grihastha. Because grihastha is earning money. So not only food, but otherwise what happens is that, there is a verse, upcoming verse, where does not only limit to prasada, but to other items also. For example, there is an upcoming verse where it says, Atmanascha pasyapi yaha karoti antarodaram tasya binna drishyo mrityur vedate bhayamulbanam. There is also again binna drishyo. Binna drishyo for what? Antarodaram. That I am discriminating from my stomach and your stomach. That is binna drishya. Right? So that is not good. Then what happens? Then the death comes as a blazing fire. See, he is talking about devotees. You see? I mean, even for a devotees, there is a danger here. So we must be very careful not to become a binna darshi. And especially a grihastha should be charitable in all ways. Not just only food, but as time, place and circumstances, whatever is needed to show compassion. In this way, Nimai generously distributed gifts to the poor, and an endless stream of guests visited the Lord's house. The Lord offered each one respect according to his position and rendered him service to his full satisfaction. On some days, sannyasis would visit his house and the Lord would serve them graciously. Once, 20 sannyasis came at one time. So the Lord sent word to his mother to cook for all of them. Mother Sachi fell into immediate anxiety, for she had nothing in the house to feed the 20 sannyasis. Lost in her problem, she did not notice that someone had brought all different ingredients she might require and left them in the kitchen. You see, the intention is important, because once you have an intention, the Lord provides. The Lord helps those who help themselves, right? Lakshmi Devi immediately went to the kitchen and pleased with the array of ingredients, she cooked some special preparations. After cooking, the Lord checked the arrangements and then invited the sannyasis to sit down. He supervised the serving of their prasad and he satisfied each one of them personally. In this way, the Lord satisfied his guests and taught the world how to behave as a perfect householder. So this is a practical application, that how especially a grihastha and a devotee can practice these principles in one's life and 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 follow the Vaishnava etiquette and not become a Binna Darshanaha. And today is also the feast of Jagannath Mishra, when Lord Chaitanya appeared. And you see Lord Jagannath Mishra also, he invited everybody, He did not discriminate between this person and that person. He invited everybody to come and take prasadam and feast. Prasadam is something which is very interesting, because sometimes just like in Mayapur, I was in Mayapur. Sometimes we may not attend other mat classes, but we are okay to go for prasad. Sometimes they also invite and we also go. So prasad is like one unifying thing, which nobody has any problem with, and which is saying more unifying effect. Because philosophy, yeah, you have something, I have something, that's all right. But prasad is like, it's like a universal language to communicate. And we can see how Lord Chaitanya, Prabhupada's father, and Jagannath Mishra showed this in practical experience way. But I want to also tell a couple of pastimes of Prabhupada, which not many devotees know. Because sometimes we may see that Srila Prabhupada sometimes criticizing Babajis of Vrindavan or some of his god brothers or some other people. So we may think that is this Binna Darshana, is Prabhupada having discriminating? Because it's one thing just to read those things, but we must also understand, as I said, both things are required, right? One is the act, second thing is the consciousness. So there are a couple of things which I learned when I was in Mayapur, which was very, very interesting to me, which I thought of sharing with you all, that sometimes even though Prabhupada seems to be apparently criticizing like these Babajis or some of his god brothers, can any one of you think of any example or any pastime of Prabhupada, what he has done, which proves that he is not a Binna Darshanaha? Can any one of you think any such things? Yeah. So there are a couple of things which I learned. One is that Prabhupada, when in his last days, he was writing will, his last will, like how ISKCON should operate after he leaves the body, and many things, many things. There are so many things, and interestingly, in one of the will, it is mentioned that some portion of money after Prabhupada leaving the body, he wanted ISKCON to distribute that money to all the Gaudiya Mats in Mayapur and Vrindavan. And actually Prabhupada also has a letter which he wants it to be read when the devotee goes and gives the money to the other ashrams. And in that he mentions, very interesting, Prabhupada says that basically he was asking apology from his god brothers, that in case if he has committed any offense while preaching or spreading the Krishna conscious movement, that may his god brothers kindly forgive him. You see that? So what do they say? Action speaks louder than words, right? So that is what. So here we can see that Prabhupada, especially what a person does, especially in his last days, is much more important and very, very significant. It carries a very high weightage. And we can see here Prabhupada, actually in his will, he was telling that he was asking apology to his god brothers. Whether he has committed or not, that's a different thing. But that shows the consciousness of Prabhupada, that how he does not have any raga or dvesha in his heart. No, he was completely pure-hearted. And the person who went to his other mutts and delivered money and asked for apology, he was telling that all his god brothers had the same reply. Same reply is that they are very grateful and they are very thankful to Srila Prabhupada, and that they have no inimical feelings or they have no complaints on Srila Prabhupada, and they are all very, very appreciative of Srila Prabhupada. So this all shows the Vaishnava behavior, and this shows how the pure devotees practice these things in their everyday life, that we should not be misguided or misunderstand some of the pure devotees, the way their actions, what they say and all those things. We must understand the intent and look at it more holistically. And also, there is one more thing. It is called as Bhakti Vedanta Charitable Trust. Not many devotees may know that, but actually Tamal Krishna Maharaj was instrumental in forming that when he was in Mayapur, in Vrindavan, where one of the objectives, because when Prabhupada established ISKCON in New York, he had specific objectives. But there are some objectives which are not highlighted. So those objectives, that is what Bhaktivedanta Charitable Trust took upon. And one of the objectives here you can see is that to unite the followers of Lord Chaitanya, specifically those descendants from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. So this was also one of the desire of Srila Prabhupada, to unify all the Gaudiya Mats, all his god brothers. See, if Prabhupada was inimical, if Prabhupada was having Binna Darshana, he would have never done this thing, right? So in this way, we must also, using all this, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas and following the principles of the Vaishnava culture, and all this following the principles of Vaidhi Bhakti, all these things will help us how not to become a separatist, or now not to harbor inimical feelings, and not to become a Binna Darshana. Okay? Thank you all. Thank you all for sharing. Yes. Any questions or comments? Yeah.
Thank you. Before I became a devotee, I never heard the word inimical.
Okay.
So I was wondering if you could give some examples of what is an inimical behavior. Maybe it's used more in British English or India.
Yeah, I mean, inimical behavior means, acting on the platform of being jealous of others, or acting as an enemy, or trying to put someone down in their on their path to Krishna consciousness. These are all like inimical behaviors, right? Because see, our objective is, you can see here that the example is given here of a dog, that that how a devotee, even to a dog who is actually in its progress in the evolution, that we don't commit any violence against even the animals, what to speak of even human beings, correct? So yeah, I mean, and basically this is something which is inimical, comes from the platform of raga and dvesha. As simple as that. Raga and dvesha, attachment and hatred. That's a pure materialistic consciousness. Anything, any decisions or any thought that is based on raga dvesha is inimical. That even though you may think that you are my friend, you are nice to me, but that is also raga and dvesha, because you may like somebody but you don't like somebody, because they all go in pairs, raga and dvesha. So we have to see both. It's not we are friends but also see enemies. No, you know what, I have 10 friends but I only have 2 enemies. Doesn't matter. It's still raga and dvesha, you see. The devotee should have no enemies, 0 enemy. Because when you have 0 enemies, that's where it said, dhira, adhira, it's in the Shad Goswami Ashtakam it is mentioned, right? The devotee is pleasing to both dhira and adhira. That is the quality of a devotee.
Yeah, you mentioned about not being inimical towards anyone, but should a devotee also consider what's proper association? Like, I think it's the Goswamis, they didn't intimately deal with the residents of Vrindavan like that. So, shouldn't there be some kind of discrimination in that regard to certain devotees who may not be up to a higher standard like that?
Discrimination is always there. We cannot avoid discrimination. As I mentioned, we have to discriminate. There are a lot of discrimination, mentioned in the Nectar of Instruction also, how we, associate differently with different types of devotees. That is also discrimination. So we cannot avoid discrimination. But what we can avoid is raga dvesha, being inimical. Just because I'm not associating doesn't mean that I'm inimical towards that person. But I can be charitable. Right? I mean, becoming charitable doesn't have nothing to do with, whether I like you or not. For example, I skipped showing this, but this is from Prabhupada discussion with Shyama Sundar Das. Therefore, we get from Shastra that even you will receive your enemy at home, you will receive him so friendly that he will forget that you are his enemy. He should feel himself confident that he is not near his enemy. His dealing and behavior are so nice. The morality is that you may be, whatever you may be, you have come to my house, you are my guest. So I must offer you all kinds of hospitality. Never mind that you are my enemy. Now you are my guest. So that's Vaishnava culture, even to an enemy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else you want to say? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Hare Krishna.